5 seamless cuts that you can use to create the cleanest edits in the game. Number 1, the J-cut. The J-cut is where the audio of the upcoming clip starts before the video. Having that audio lead you into the next clip makes the cut a whole lot cleaner. Let's have a look at this quick example. Between this clip and the next, there was a very noticeable change in background noise. If I were to just do a jump cut here, the change in noise would be really jarring. So to make this cut a whole lot smoother, I use a J-cut and fade in that background noise. So by the time the audience sees the next clip, they've already adjusted to that background noise and it goes unnoticed. J-cuts can also be used just to make your jump cuts a whole lot smoother. Let's say you're editing a talking head video and you need to cut out all the dead spaces. Instead of just cutting the clips and bringing them together like this, use a J-cut and line up the last syllable of the first clip with the first syllable of the next clip and play around with the timing a bit until you get a clean cut. Number 2, the L-cut. The L-cut is exactly like the J-cut, but in reverse. So the audio you're hearing in the first clip will carry on into the next one. The L-cut is perfect for editing conversations between 2 or more people. So you'll cut from one person to the next while that first person is still talking, and that audio will continue on into that clip. I'm constantly using L-cuts and J-cuts while editing, especially with more IRL content when you're dealing with more than one person's voice. J-cuts and L-cuts are essential for clean editing. Number 3, the cutaway. The cutaway is just what it says it is, cutting away from your main subject to B-roll that visually explains what you're saying or shows where you are. Cutting to B-roll lets you get your point across in a crystal clear way, which in turn keeps your audience more engaged. Another great use of the cutaway is just cutting away to a secondary camera angle. This is perfect for hiding those really ugly jump cuts. Speaking of hiding jump cuts, before we get on to my 2 favorite cuts to use, here's a bonus one to really help hide the ugliness in jump cuts. This is perfect for talking head videos where you're just cutting out dead space, and sometimes those cuts can just look really ugly and it might not be the right place for a cutaway to B-roll. So you use a zoom cut. On the upcoming clip, all you have to do is just zoom in a little bit on your subject. This just hides that cut really well by distracting the viewer with that zoom in. Now, onto my 2 favorite cuts. The match cut. The match cut is where you match your subject's actions from one scene into the next, creating a seamless transition from one environment into another. There are countless examples of match cuts in YouTube and in cinema. One of the most famous ones in cinema, probably from 2001: A Space Odyssey, but my favorite by far is actually in the YouTube space from Casey Neistat. The match cut is perfect for showing the passing of time in the quickest way possible. We can go from here to here to here without any boring explanation in between. This next cut is by far my favorite and leaves the most room for creativity. Number 5, the invisible cut. Did you see that? Well, if you didn't, that's okay. That's the whole point of the invisible cut. The invisible cut uses either action or an element of the scene to hide any cuts and make the scene flow as if it were a single take. This scene from Honey, I Blew Up the Kids uses a whip pan of the camera and motion blur to hide the cut between the regular and miniature sets. While the movie 1917 uses a multitude of incredible camera and editing tricks to create the illusion of the whole movie being one single shot. You can also use the invisible cut as a super clean transition. All you need is the element of a scene to take up the full width or height of the screen and to be moving either horizontally or vertically across the screen. Then just create a mask on the edge of this object and animate it to follow that edge across the whole screen. Then simply lay your next shot underneath to create one of the cleanest transitions in the game. I hope these cuts help bring your edits to a whole new level. And if you want to learn how to edit addictive YouTube videos, click this right here.